Copy.
All right, so I got Young Potts with me today, and he's going to be talking about his new album that's releasing December 9th and some of the inspiration that led him to create the project and just about him as an artist. So, Young Potts, welcome.
Yo, what's good?
Not much, man. I'm glad to have you on the show. Are you nervous?
No, I'm chilling.
You chilling? Fuck yeah, man. So tell us a little bit about this album. When did you start working on it?
So, like a couple of the songs, maybe like 3 or 4 of them, um, I had written like a while ago. Maybe like the start of the pandemic is probably like the oldest one. Um, and the rest of them, so there's 12 tracks. So whatever 12 minus 3 or 4 is,
Let's
8 or 9.
go with nine. I like
So
nine.
about like 8 or 9 of them are new. I wrote all of them pretty much within like a week and a half. It's a breakup album, so it's a little bit, what's the word?
Personal.
Soft, soft, if you will. You know what I mean? But don't
Ah.
like. There's a couple tracks. There's like 4 tracks that are definitely, what I'm known for making. Definitely fun type of music. So it's not all different, but yeah, very melodic driven, very auto tune, very like sing rappy kinda. So yeah,
So it
it's
was
fire.
it was during that week and a half. Was that when you and your ex broke up?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Oh wow, wow. So you must have been
I
just
maybe
like
I
hit.
maybe took like 2 days. No, yeah, yeah, pretty much like that week. Yeah,
Wow. So you just went straight to the book. So like music's really just how you express your emotional like pain, I guess.
just everything. Yeah, pretty much everything like pain or joy. Music is just something that comes easy. So I'm like a general artist, not like much of a painter. I do paint here and there, but I'm more like a new age kind of artist. You know what I mean? Like I make clothes, I make music,
Oh, you make clothes?
photography and shit like that. Yeah, I make like jeans and shit.
What?
And
I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
how long we've been talking? I never knew that you made clothes and you did photography on top of music.
Photography is like low key. Like I'm just into it. It's not like something that I'm like. I'm not a photographer. I'm just into photography.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, I feel you on that. I kind of lost interest a little bit because at school, like I had a job as a photographer, and I was just like, ah, man, I hate being told what to do. So I feel you on that. That's cool though. That's cool. So what when it comes to finding like so this album, right? When w- when you release it, like what goes through your head? Like do you get like anxious about the content on it? Are you worried about how it's received? Or you're just like, you know what, this is my art. People could fuck with it, or it could get like one listener. I don't give a shit.
I used to make um I used to not make as personal music. Um, but I feel like just with like aging and growing, like you just kind of get more mature and um, yeah, just kind of like looking at things differently. You know what I mean? Like it's that's just what's going on. So that's what I'm gonna make music about. You know what I mean? And if you want to tune in, it's good music. So you'll like it. Whether you listen, like you could hear the music, but whether you listen or not is another thing. You know what I mean? So you could hear it and just it's good vibes. The beats are very uplifting and shit like that. But if you listen to it, it's a little bit more like, oh shit, like he's really going through something that we've all been through. So it's very relatable.
Absolutely. Do you feel that like a lot of people just listen to music? I mean, not listen to music. That like a lot of people just hear music, but they don't actually listen to what they're hearing.
I don't know about a lot of people. I definitely know some people who are like that. But a lot of the people that I know are either really into music or make music themselves. So like it's kind of a given that they're listening to it. But I definitely know a few people who just kind of vibe out, didn't really pay attention.
Gotcha. Okay. I always wondered that because like I feel I always analyze society and stuff, and I feel like a lot of people just kind of take experiences because we're just so overwhelmed with information. It's just like, oh yeah, this is music and the beats I, like I'm not sure, if you directly experienced people, not just with your music, but in general, not even really listening. But it's cool that the people you surround yourself with actually do, because that just makes it more enjoyable. Like I don't know why
Yeah,
people
for a fact.
wouldn't listen to what they're listening to. Like,
Like
there's
even with film, I'm really into film and stuff like that. I'm not like super duper like a know it all, or I'm not like into. I'm just kind of scratching the surface of foreign films. You know what I
oh
mean?
okay,
And like indie films, shit like that. I've been rocking with a little bit. I just like all types of movies. They could be dumb movies too. But
Harold and
the
Kumar go to
point
White
is,
Castle.
yeah, I love my favorite movie is Superbad. You know what I mean? So, but
Absolutely.
but my point in saying that is like even with that, it's not even just something to watch. I pay attention to how the script is written. I pay attention to how well the actors convey the emotion, um, how well the transitions are, like how it's shot. You know what I mean? Like I pay attention to all of that. So, and I also love to pay attention to like a really good story and like really analyze like, oh, well, what did this mean in the beginning? You know what I mean? That type shit. So I'm just like that kind of a person where it's like, there's like the whole left brain, right brain. One side is artsy, one side is like analytical. I feel like I'm very analytical with artsy things.
Oh, okay, okay. So like when you make art, um, what's your first steps into making a piece?
Honestly, every song is a little bit different. So like sometimes like I'll just think of sometimes honestly like I'll just write a poem, right? So I'll write poetry too, and I won't put a lot of it to a beat, but some of it I'll be like, this actually would be fire if I tweaked it a little bit and made it like a hook or like a verse or something like that. So that's how like one way is. Another time like I'll be listening to a beat, and that's when I'm like consciously trying to make music. Like I'll play a beat and just kind of hum like a melody in a flow and then put words to it. Well, actually, I'll put like syllables to it and then I'll put like a word, if that makes sense. Like I'll put beats in how I'm gonna say
Oh,
the
so you're
the
trying to
verse, if
figure
that
out
makes sense.
you're trying to figure out how something sounds with the beat before you actually go and like run wild with it and then try to make the beat fit.
Yeah, like I figure out like how it's gonna sound rather than what I'm gonna say. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm. Well, now when you
So
make beats, do you make the beat before the song, or do you make it piecemeal?
I don't make the beats.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, you use Kenny, right?
Yeah, Kenny makes 95% of my beats.
Kenny triple
Probably
seven's a
higher than
god.
that. Nah, he's
He's,
the goat for real.
he-
He like him. He's up there in my personal favorite producers with like Pierre and fucking Madlib and like and like Alchemist. Like he is like a goat producer in my opinion.
Damn, that is a heavy compliment. That is a very heavy compliment. Nah, I
It's a
agree with
fact.
you. It is a fact because like I've had Jeff on the show a couple of times, even when we did Wildin' Out, um, and all the music that I've listened to that he's used Kenny's Beats for, it's just like, wow, man, it's just gonna pop off no matter what you're saying. It's just gonna be like in your face, kind of. They're nasty beats
Yeah,
in a good way, man. Like,
nah,
mad
for real.
respect.
He made 11 out of 12 of the beats on the album. And I think for maybe like again like three or four, not the same three or four, but for another three or four beats, I sat there with him and um I didn't really do much. I kind of like gave input, like, oh, try this one, or he'd ask me my opinion on, oh, how does this one sound as opposed to this one. And so I kind of worked with him to build the beat from scratch, and those honestly came out to be some of my favorites. A couple of the ones that we worked on didn't make the album, but I like to save up all the B sides, and eventually, like, I've put out a playlist of just old songs that I never finished. So I'll probably do the same thing with these.
Absolutely, that sounds like a good project too. Just releasing your old stuff. I have stuff that like I haven't released yet either. Like I know podcasts are different, but like just kind of like, oh, is this a good interview or is this like, should I release it? I don't know. But I feel you on that. Like sometimes our the work that we're hesitant on, or if it just doesn't fit yet, is often it could be our best work, especially if it's released in like that project style. But
No, it's a fact because I like a couple, like I said, about three or four of the songs that I had written beforehand. Um, I want to say two of them I had recorded beforehand also. Um, and I went back, listened to it, changed up whatever I thought needed changing. Um, but in retrospect, like I'm really glad that I saved those beats. I mean, not those beats, those songs. Excuse me, because it just fits so perfectly. Like there's one song where I didn't change anything, and that's the oldest song that I have on that project. And I didn't change not one thing. I just added ad libs to it, and it fits so perfectly. Like what I'm talking about. It was kind of like I almost predicted what was going to happen, like through my music.
oh, that's awesome. Yeah, dude, never get rid of your work. Like I don't understand people that delete songs or clips. It's just kind of like, dude, like that's your work and that's your work for the rest of your existence.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like there's a lot of shit that I'm like, I kind of cringe at
Oh,
when
well,
people bring it up.
if it's genuinely bad, like that's one thing.
I don't know if it's see the type of person that I am, like the type of artist that I am, is once I'm done. The way that I look at my music is it's mine until I release it, and then at that point it's no longer mine, and I never touch it again.
What do you
Like
mean?
I never listen to it again. I'm over that song. You know what I mean? It's not mine anymore. It's on to whatever I'm working on now.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know
So,
what you mean.
and a lot of my music also, like the earliest I release music from its like inception, the quickest I've ever put out a piece of music is probably like a month, just because I like to take my time with music. I like to make sure that it sounds right, it's mixed right, all that. So I like to take my time with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, it is quite literally constructing something from all levels of it, from writing to final production. Um, so
But
when
I still
you
delete old shit that I consider like trash. You know what I mean? Shit that's not really me anymore. I do I do delete, or maybe not delete it, but I archive it.
fair enough. Well, now here's the thing that I wanted to ask you. That actually leads into the next question. So from when you started to now, like, what was the progression? Like, how did you get to Young Pots now, as opposed to when you first started?
But first started, when I first started, didn't really know. I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest. Like I first started getting into music by um like finding instrumentals of already like popular songs, and I like rap a lot, like try to come up with my own version of the same verse. So I would change up like a couple things. Or I would keep the flow and just rap whatever it is that I'm rapping about, with like with the homies, and then I tried writing to it. And the first song I ever wrote to was "Transformia" by Chris Brown. So,
Get the
you
hell
can
out of
only
here.
imagine. Yeah, you can only imagine. Like, I didn't really have like any structure, any like idea of what I wanted to do. So then once I started getting like kind of serious about like creating my own raps as opposed to just changing it up a little bit. That's when I was listening to like a lot of boom bap shit, a lot of a lot of like MF Doom, Capital Steez,
Mm-hmm.
Earl, like that kind of shit. You know, so that was like early high school type shit. But then from there I kind of did like a total 180. I got into like that SoundCloud era, like Lil Pump and like Smoke Perp and like just like that most like the most like dumb fucking idiotic rap like you can think of. That it's fun, you know. It's not like it's kind of trash, but it's like good trash. You know what I mean?
It's just something to bop to.
In the moment, it was like good trash. It's still a vibe sometimes, but like Lil Pump is straight trash. So then I started writing like just like ironic music, like trying to make fun of that, but also at the same time like make it good. And that's the kind of shit that and the like super boom bap shit. I'm like, nah, I'm not really. That's the shit I cringe at. Everything past that, it's like, I was finding my artistry, so I can't really hate on that.
So when was that turning point when you just kind of realized like, okay, like I'm done with this. I need to make actual like music that fits me and who I am and like my situations.
I actually started going down that path. Um, how I'm probably like 21. I want to say like it was like right before the pandemic popped off. Um, and I was kind of showing signs of that. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I was taking it a little more serious in like what it is that I'm rapping about, but still keeping it playful, still like keeping that really, you know, um, not lyrical miracle type shit, but substance in what it is that I'm rapping up, but not too much to where it's like, this is just a news broadcast. Like I hate that kind of music.
Wait, what do
So
you mean? Like, what type of music is like
like
that?
I hate like super conscious rap. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't want to hear like the news in my music. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
you're talking about like Dead Prez type shit and like that type
just
of
any of
stuff.
that. Like that J Cole and like Kendrick. Like they're nice, but like they're not really a vibe for me. You know what I mean? Like I like to hear about like that artist themselves, not what's going on around them. I mean, maybe what's going on around them, but how it affects them. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
So
Like too much. Like music's a distraction and an expressive form for you. Like you don't want to hear about like the recent police killing or like the economy being shit. Got you.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
understand.
want to hear about some personal shit. Like yeah, like that affects them in a personal way, but like I said, like I don't want to hear news broadcast in my music.
We get inundated with that stuff. It's just the fact that we got to deal with it in our in our art now. It's
That's
just
just my
kind of
personal preference. You know what I mean? Everybody has their cup of tea. This is not mine.
no. I understand it. I totally get that. Like I agree with you. That's actually why like I got rid of my old Twitter account because I was just like, bro, this is crazy. Like I'm so in deep in politics Twitter that it's just like goodbye. I'm done. Um, I feel you on that because it gets draining and it almost takes away the humanity of it because it puts you in like a fight or flight. At least that's how I felt. So like
Yeah,
I totally get you on that. And there's so much more to life than that, like so much more, and it actually is almost therapeutic to realize that in a way.
yeah, exactly. Like, and that's why I used to only prefer to make music that was about the good things in life, like being happy and having a good time,
Mm,
and maybe like the occasional like personal type of song. And that's like that's like the first project where I started taking myself serious was. not like not like fully taking myself serious, but like starting to, you know what I mean? Starting to get the ball rolling. And funny enough, it's called Your Boyfriend's Music is Trash, so it doesn't really sound like it's taking itself serious. But if you listen, it's kind of proving the point of its name. Like, I'm making some good music, whether it's a joke or not. It's still good music. Um, but and then so I kind of took a break from music after that. I wasn't really feeling it. I felt like a lot of obviously the people I collaborate with a lot are, my boys, those are my brothers, of course, that family. But I felt like a lot of the other people, it was very like politicky, and you know what I mean? Like I was engineering for people, and it was so draining, especially when like the music is trash. You know what I mean? If it's good, it's all right. It kind of inspires me to go harder. But when they're fucking garbage, bro, it just makes me want to just fucking blow my brains out. Like
You feel
I
like they
can't
just
I
want to
can't
talk
deal with
about
it.
it. Like
Yeah,
they,
like even talking about it, I'm getting like drained, bro. Like so I took a
uh,
break
y-
for like about a year, and then the pandemic kind of also like threw me off. Um, but then having little spurts of creativity here and there, like recording, that definitely paid off because I saved those songs. I wasn't really ready yet to put them out. Um, and then going through that heartbreak, that trauma, not trauma, let's not gas it, but you know, going through something that sucks and it hurts. You know what I mean? That made me kind of realize, like, well, not only does like my music not it wasn't even like a conscious thing either, like where I was like my music has to change. It was kind of like I got to change because I just feel shitty. So let me do things to make myself feel better. And part of that was going into the booth and talking about what was on my mind. So you know what I mean? It was just kind of
yeah,
a natural thing. Like I just make music about whatever's going on in my life, and that was just what was going on in my life. So
absolutely. Yeah, no, I totally understand that. Like, I get that. Like, even with it, like with this show, like that was one of the things. Like, that's why I actually started producing or two, even three times a week. Um, was during the pandemic because it was expressive. It kind of just helped me get stuff out, and I totally get that, man. Like, the pandemic was hard too, man. It was hard for people that were creative. It was especially hard for you musicians because like you couldn't get into a real studio. You couldn't get into, if you were in a band. I mean, good luck. Um, so like
well,
I
what? I
get that.
actually prefer to record at home anyway. Like
Really?
I like to record in studios where like I'm not the engineer, and it's like an actual booth and shit like that. Like I like to do that, but I have the home studio, so like it saves me money, and I also can experiment a little more freely. I could go at my own pace. You know what I mean? Like I could fuck off for a little bit and come back to it. So I feel like there's a lot more freedom in that, but definitely like it's such a different vibe, like going to a studio and like making music. I don't like to do it alone. I like to do it with friends if I'm gonna go to a studio. Because if I'm gonna go alone, I might as well do everything alone. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember like we would even go to we'd go to Team Studio, and it would be like a party almost. But like it's only a party if like you go with other people. Like I'm in the same boat as you. Like I've been looking into a studio for my show, but like you said, you hit it right on the point. It saves money doing it at home, and like unless you got people, you're not gonna do it. It just doesn't make
Doesn't
any
make much of a
sense.
difference. Yeah, doesn't make
S-
much of a difference if you go by yourself.
No, not at all. And if anything, it probably puts more of a stress on it because now it's like, oh shit, like I have exactly an hour to record this, and it has to be good because I just spent like 100 bucks.
Some people need that though.
Oh
I
yeah,
definitely know some people need that like pressure on, or not maybe not pressure, but they need that like thing that like on their back, like to keep them motivated and to keep them focused. I'm not one of those kinds of people. I need my freedom and I need my. I mean, not that I can't do it in well time, because I don't really ever do it by an hour. I'll do it by like 3, with with a couple of heads, and that definitely is enough time. But you know what I mean. Like you just have, yeah. I'm just the type where I either bust it out or I'm like really kind of like, damn, like how can I make this really hit? You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
there's both aspects.
absolutely. No, no, no,
But
I get
but
that.
one
And like, no, go ahead. What were you saying?
oh, I was gonna say like one thing about it though is I always like to keep things on a positive note. So even though this album is it starts off very melancholy, I'd say, very kind of emotional, but it ends in a very sort of contextual way, to be honest, because it ends off in a way to more how towards I'm feeling now, which is it was what it was, it is what it is, and it will be what it will be. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of just vibing now, like
Just kind of a weight lifting off your chest.
yeah, yeah. It's not so much of a fucking cloud anymore. Now it's just like a little I don't know. I don't really have another comparison. Like a little pebble in my fucking shoe.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good. That's cool that you like you're illustrating that too through the music. I like that a lot. It tells a story. Um,
Yeah, I'm always about that, man.
absolutely, man. Like I honestly like there's a lot of music out there. Like I don't know. I feel like a lot of modern music kind of like is trash, low key, but like I like music with soul in it. That's why I listen to like a lot of jam bands and stuff. And like you said too about like the happiness stuff and like making music that speaks to happiness. We need more of that because a lot of people get caught up in the times, and a lot of what's created is reflective of what's going on, and kind of resisting that is really admirable because a lot of people just got caught up in that, and that stuff like a lot of people flock to it because everyone wants to feel like crap because the whole world feels like crap.
Yeah, for sure. I have a very broad like taste in music, but one thing that they everything has in common is that it's very real. You know what I mean? So I like to listen to people singing about their emotions, or like the Lil Uzis or Juice Worlds and shit like that. But I
Mm-hmm.
also like to listen to people talking about like guns and drugs and the shit that they've been through, like Dirk and Vaughn and all them. But I also really love like soul and fucking funk, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
bro, that new fucking Silk Sonic album was fire. I love Marvin Gaye is a goat. He's definitely in my top 4 musicians like ever. Definitely fuck with that Marley. Here and there, you can't. I don't really listen to him every day like that. I'm not gonna gas it, but I definitely like to put him on like on special occasions. Wink, wink. Uh,
4:20 p.m. on 420.
I meant more
I
on
had to
like
make you chuck.
the tripping out type vibes. I like to put him on some
Oh,
good vibes type. Yeah, bro. Like I have a very, and then I like that like classic rock type shit sometimes, like that heavy shit, or
really?
I just don't really like that pop punk or that pop punk shit. Like that shit is don't play that shit around me.
That's a dude. Nah,
Don't play none of that post hardcore, none of anything like any major mainstream band past like 2000 like 10. I don't want to hear it. Like I'm sorry, unless you're my homies. Cause I know some homies who definitely like are in bands and they make like some real good fire shit. But none of that mainstream shit. I don't want to hear it.
nah, I'm in the same
I don't
boat.
want to hear no speaking my silence type shit. I don't want to hear no fucking screaming. None of that shit, bro. No offense to anybody who listens to it, but don't play that shit around me.
He said, "Get your emo shit away from me, bro." Yo, that's why I stopped listening to emo and like metal like when I was in high school. Like, very rarely do I listen to it now because like all the newer stuff is trash, and like everyone that tries to cover it. And I have friends that make music like this too. So like this isn't a shot at them, but like it's more just kind of like that whole scene where it's like, yeah, let's make a band and do this. Then there's the one dedicated guy that like is actually trying to do stuff, and then everyone else kind of bails or doesn't take it seriously. And that's
You
the
know what?
one. No, go ahead. What's up?
No, I'll let you finish.
No, it's basically that's like the one downside to working in a band, especially with the that type of scenes culture, because like you need four or five people that are like militantly
Oh
dedicated
yeah,
to
for sure.
finishing the project, and like if even one of them is not, the whole thing just sounds off, and it's so unfortunate, but like it's just the nature of the beast.
Nah, for sure. That's definitely like a reason why I do like a lot of music by myself. And occasionally we'll do music with other people just because it's so much quicker and easier and more convenient to just bust it out by myself. But yeah, it's no shot. It's not even like particularly like I just feel like yeah, like once I got to high school, I kind of felt like I don't know, I just wasn't identifying with that kind of music anymore.
Mm.
Um, and even going back and listening to what I was listening to, the only thing that I still really vibe with is shit that's like way older than me. You know what I mean? Like Nirvana type shit. And actually, no, I do fuck with Paramore. And um, there's a couple bands that was like right when I was like finding my musical like taste. You know what I mean? There's a handful of them, like all the White Stripes, the Black Keys, Vampire Weekend. Like there's bands that I love. You know what I mean? Tour Cinema Club. I love these. I love certain kinds of that music, but just that overall fucking like just screaming. I don't want to hear nobody scream on the track unless you're fucking like unless you're rapping. To be honest.
No, I understand that. I understand that. So we're getting kind of close to the end. I do want to ask you this one last question. Um, what is something you want the listeners to know before this album drops?
One thing I want the listeners to know is definitely that your boy is up. You know, definitely not as not feeling as emotional as this album would make it seem. Like, you gotta remember, like I wrote this in the summertime. It is now basically the winter time. Done a lot of soul searching, healing, all that kind of stuff. You know, I'm a very spiritual type of person, so I leave it up to whatever is out there that runs the show. You know what I mean? So I'm a, I'm gonna have a bad bitch in my life, whether it's whether it's my ex shorty, whether it's a new shorty, whether it's two shorties. You know what I mean? Like
What about a
I'm gonna
guy?
have a bit. You know what? I can't. Not that you know what I mean. Like I can't really rock with that just because I feel like if I were to date a guy, right? I feel like any argument we throwing hands. You're a man, you know what I mean? Like we could fight, and it's not no. It may be in the law it's domestic violence, but you know what I mean. We two niggas, like we gonna fight. We're gonna fight if we have a real bad argument with a girl. You know what I mean? Like I just will divert it. I'll just start singing some songs. Or I'll just dip out the crib. You know what I mean? Like I do some dickhead shit where it's just like I'm not finna talk like this with you right now. You better argue with the wall. Like I'm out.
Cooler heads prevail. Come back to it
Yeah, it's a
later.
lot easier with a woman. You know what I mean? Like sometimes though they be driving me crazy though. When they're crazy too, when they're crazy, just as crazy as you or crazier, bro, that's a bad time. You want them a
Oh,
little bit less crazy than you. Just a little bit. You still want them crazy, but just a little bit less than you.
oh, dude! If that happened to me, I wouldn't still be single. Um,
Cause I
yo,
can
I
handle a little bit, but sometimes sometimes, and every woman is crazy. By the way, every man, everybody, every person has a little bit of crazy. I don't want to make it seem like I'm shitting on specific people. I'm not. This is just. I'm just saying, like I have a very specific taste. Is all I'm saying. I like, I like the bad bitches with the bad vibes. I like mean
Oh,
bitches,
yo, I
mean
just
women. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Mean women.
oh no, they're gonna cancel you. They're gonna cancel you. No, 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 no. God forbid. But
Nah,
bro, I
I'd
just
be slipping up. I'd be slipping up. We were trying to be on the more mature wave. That was my bad.
nah, it be like that sometimes. But I just want to say thank you for coming on the show. I wish you
Yeah,
luck.
bro. Thanks for
I
having
can't.
me.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to listen to your album. And afterwards, if you want to come back and you want to talk about it, your thoughts, impressions, and what I thought, we have a good conversation about it. I'm down.
For sure, bro. I'm definitely down.
Hell yeah, Brody. Thank
I'm
you,
also down to
everyone.
play some COD whenever you're free.
Yo, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just definitely Cold War. I don't
Gotta
know if
get
you're
it
gonna
in.
get Vanguard.
Just don't leak the PS4 chats.
Wait, PS4? Nah, I don't play PlayStation, bro. Get the hell out of here.
Oh, I'm on that PS4. Don't log the COD chats. Don't leak the COD chats.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We got some spicy, spicy going on in the COD
Spicy
chats.
commentary.
We're really dating in real life. No, I'm just kidding.
Fuck it. Well, fuck out of here.
Alright, bro. I'll catch you.
All right, peace, bro.